Good afternoon, ladies. Chris Lieber here, and I wanted to share one of our favorite family recipes for Christmas. We aren't able to get together this year because of the COVID situation, so I thought maybe I would do something at my kitchen that I can share with you. One of our favorite recipes from this book is the Christmas Stollen. And Stollen is just a sweet bread that has fruit in it, but don't be concerned, it doesn't taste like a fruit cake. And I will go through all the steps so that you know what we need to do. The ingredients that you're going to need are 1.5 cups of milk that I have scalded, and that means that there's like a skin on top of it. I have 5 egg yolks right here along with 1 regular egg. I've put my spices and salt together. We have cardamom, nutmeg, and salt. And then one of the really interesting things is the cut up green and red cherries. You will find these in the baking section of the store. A lot of times they put that in the center aisle right at this time of year. And we'll need those all cut up along with 2 cups of raisins. And I like to add the white raisins along with the brown raisins. I use butter that is salted. I've always used that. I don't know how it would turn out with unsalted butter. This is the rind of 1 lemon, and then 7 cups of flour. And I have used the premium bread flour. However, I have made Stollen with just all-purpose flour, and it turns out well. It's just that I think it rises a little higher with this. So, I can't forget 1.5 cups of sugar, 1.25 cups of sugar. And you'll get the recipe at the end. So let's get started. First thing you're gonna do is boil or scald the milk. Then you will put 3 sticks of butter, not oleo, 3 sticks of butter into that hot mixture. And that will cool the milk off enough that you can put the flour or the yeast in it. Now we're going to talk a little bit about the yeast. Today I am using rapid rise yeast. I have done it in the evening, put it all together before I go to bed with regular yeast, and in the morning that's when I can start putting it into the loaf pans. But for now, we're going to use the rapid rise. It's 2 o'clock right now, and I'm guessing by 6 o'clock I will be able to put them into the bread pans, let it rise again, and then bake it. So here we go. We're going to start with putting it all together. And we're going to first of all mix some flour and the egg or the lemon rind, the sugar, and the spices. These are our dry ingredients. And because this is a big, tall pot, I have a little stepping stool here, and I'm going to put that together. Now the key here is putting these other ingredients together, not all at once. So the first thing I'm going to do is crack 1 egg, put that in, and a little of the butter and milk section. Now my milk and my milk and butter is still cooling off. So I'm going to put this together, and the ingredients for this many loaves call for 1.5 packages of yeast. And I'm just going to try, yes, it's perfect. It's warm. You want the yeast to be able to not be put out. It has to have enough heat to keep going. Okay, so that's 1.5 packages. And like I said, my family always had the ungefähr rule, approximately. So I'll let that go together, and I'm going to be stirring this up, and it looks kind of like a pie crust at this point. I'm going to add a little of the egg yolk, I should say. Okay, and a little more of the butter mixture. Now it's starting to clump together. It's hard to believe all 7 cups of flour is going to go in there, but it will. And if you have a strong husband or son or anyone else in the family that wants to start stirring, that would be good to call in the troops. Okay, we're going to put the rest of the egg, a little bit more of the egg in. For whatever reason, my relatives always felt there had to be a particular process getting this all mixed up. Put a little bit more of this in. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to put a few of the raisins in because they can get coated with the flour mixture so they separate. All right. Looks like my butter has not quite melted. As long as it's soft enough to stir, I think I can use it that way. So we're going to put that in. And the rest of the egg. I've got spatulas here from Norway. My husband has relatives in Norway, and one Christmas they sent us three Norwegian spatulas. So that's kind of cool. All right, so keep stirring. Now it's starting to get kind of the right kind of consistency as I remember it. And of course, I only do this once a year. So it's definitely a Christmas bread. And I honestly can't say Christmas would be the same if we didn't have it. We have to have Stollen. Some people say Stollen, but in my family, it's Stollen. Okay, put the rest of this in. I think I can stir those lumps out. And last is going to be the rest of the raisins and the green and red cherries. And like I said, don't be alarmed. This is not going to be like a heavy-duty fruit cake. Here we go. And still some more flour.
They might want to see your Christmas tree.
If you want to take a peek while I'm stirring here, take a look at my Christmas tree and my other decorations in the great room. I figured I'm going to be around. There's no place to go. I have a sign that says, since there's no place to go, let it snow. So I guess that's what we're going to do. Sit around and eat Stollen. All right. We are almost ready to put those red and green cherries in, and as you can see, this is quite a workout. I had my Y exercise this morning getting ready, lifting weights so I could stir this. Oh, okay, here we go with the red and green cherries.
You said those were cut.
They were all chopped up, yes. I wouldn't say I minced them, but probably each cherry was in quarters. Okay, now it says to keep stirring until the whole dough pulls away from the edge. And this might take a long time. So what I think I'm gonna do is set this aside, but I wanna show you what we do after everything is all put together and the dough is actually pulling away from the sides of the pan. And by the way, I'm putting this in a great big kettle, but I have made it in glass pans or glass bowls, plastic, no matter what. So we've got the 1 egg, the 5 egg yolks, the sugar, the flour, the milk and butter, the yeast, and the lemon. And what we're going to do with this now is put it in the oven. And in my case, I have to move it on the rack. I'm going to do this. I'm going to put a piece of wax paper on the top. I'm going to shut it. And I'm going to put my oven light on. That's all I do. And at about 6 o'clock tonight, I will take it out. I will flatten them on a pastry mat, cut it into 4 sections, and each of the loaves, you drip butter over them, melted butter, and then you fold them in thirds, and then you put it into a pan. So
greased or ungreased?
I don't grease the pan because there's so much butter in there anyway. So this recipe will make enough for this many pans. My mother always used to make them in flat pans. I personally like the ones that are in bread pans, but you can play around with it. Now, you have to kind of watch them when you finally do the final baking, because you want them brown, but you don't want to overbake them.
So the rack's lower in the oven?
I guess so. I've put them on 2 racks. So anyway, so that is the Stollen recipe. I will also be posting the final when it's all frosted. And I would enjoy any of your comments. Tell me if you're going to give it a try. And if you have any questions, feel free to call me. Okay? Have a wonderful day and Merry Christmas.